So I did a review of Ghost Recon Wildlands, just basically talking about the campaign, and I really didn't have enough, like, I don't know, I just didn't really want to play the multiplayer, which was called Ghost Wars or whatever. And I kind of remembered, I'm like, well, I think I've mentioned that I used to play Ghost Recon Future Soldier, and I had a really high KD, and I really had a lot of fun with that game. And so I was like, hey, why not try it? Because if I was good at the other one, I should be good at this one. Now, the first thing I noticed when it comes to a difference, and I know that there's I don't know, a lot of resentment towards Ghost Recon Future Soldier, especially within the Ghost Recon community. There was a lot of things that were kind of not fair, especially the shock charges and the taser gun, and then you can hack people and kind of give out their locations, and people would basically spawn trap with those things. I was a victim of that, and I also did that, but I did it because it was fun and it was free points basically. And if you played against good players, they can outwit you. And there was a distinctive map that I only really did it on because I wanted to be a dick, and it was just at that time it was kind of fun and sensible to do. At that time, I never thought or considered doing YouTube. If I did, I'd probably be a little bit higher up there, when it comes to subscribers, and you guys would understand why I am the way I am when it comes to games, and why I like certain games, why I don't like certain games, and why I have this a very particular type of like how I review my games and all that kind of stuff. So I want to start by saying, if you have both people that are active players, they don't play like your typical Call of Duty players where they sit and camp there. No offense to any Call of Duty players. I myself am a Call of Duty player, or used to be a veteran Call of Duty player. But I just feel that, there's so much more to, kind of express, in this particular game. Imagine Rainbow Six Siege, where you only have one life. However, your teammates can revive you, but it's a very huge risk because a lot of times people do what they call body camping. And, I'm going to talk about that just briefly. Basically, someone kills you with a sniper rifle, and they will stay zoomed on your body. As soon as someone goes to revive them, they get another kill. That, or if they have an assault rifle and they get in a corner and they wait for another player from the other team to show up to try to revive them, because it's 4-on-4, and once you're at 2-on-4, there's a great probability that you're going to get flanked from multiple directions, and you're going to lose that round, and it's best out of 3. And if you lose the first round, win the second round, then the third round, depending on who wins, sometimes it could be a draw, and then nobody wins, which happened to me a few times since I've been playing it. Now, another thing that people do, well, you have a very particular type of class where you can drop mines, and they'll kill you, put a mine by your body, and as soon as somebody runs up there, they don't notice, they explode, and then you got another kill over there, and then you could probably double back and put another mine on those two bodies. However, I guess the team would then realize, well, they put one mine there, and that he might have doubled back and put another mine there. So you actually got to think about shit before you go and actually make, really big decisions, because every aspect of Ghost Recon, Ghost Wars, the multiplayer aspect of the game is extremely, like, you have to really think about shit that you do, because every fucking decision that you make in this game really impacts on how the outcome of the game. If you're going to win or lose, you do have to have skills with your weapons. You do have to kind of know the map, and it takes a little bit more strategy. So I guess I can consider it more of a mature game. Players that, let's say, for example, PUBG players would probably have a good old fun time with this game, just because it involves that very, very intricate, detailed, accuracy and knowledge and strategy. So it is, it involves a lot more strategy, just in general. And I feel like it's interesting, but in the same time, the thing that I really miss in Ghost Recon, I really wish they would do this as a possibility to make things a little bit more interesting. Take like one of those more bigger parts of towns in the game, because they take basically and they cursor over it and outline the boundaries of a particular part of the large map from the campaign, and that would be your multiplayer map. And now, since they have that tool to do that, they could always take a big city, kind of more urban style map, and cursor over that so it's more close quarters, so that it's a little bit more familiar, like Ghost Recon. And those maps I would do very well, because it's almost basically the same thing as Ghost Recon Future Soldier in that aspect, if it was like that. Most of these maps, they have a little small, like, where there's buildings, so it's more close quarter-ish, and then they have the outskirts, which is where you spawn and where they spawn, and then the left and right part of the map. Those are the outskirts, and that's where people mostly hang out and hide and camp, and that's the one downfall of the multiplayer aspect of Ghost Recon, is that the maps are either too big, or there's too much open space, or too much to hide in. And people have a tendency of being, like Call of Duty players, and being afraid to progress forward. Me, I go straight to what they call the Recon Tower, and ultimately somewhere within the game it activates, and you can hack it, kind of like in the campaign you would hack a laptop, kind of like that, and then you can see the enemy positions. But a lot of people camp that as well, or they cursor over that with their sniper rifle scopes, and they just sit there and wait for people to attempt it, and they pick players off, and it's kind of like almost kind of stale at some point, and it gets kind of irritating. And if you get it with a good team that actually talks, occasionally you'll find players that talk, or if you start to talk, people start to put on their headphones and actually start talking to each other, then you can really communicate and do well. But then a lot of times, like, I played a game with one guy, no one talked. He was on my team, because I stayed in the lobby for 3 games. As soon as me and him started talking, I noticed that he jumped on the other team. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, that makes no sense. Like, it almost feels that, like, the developers, like, oh, they're starting to talk. Let's make a mixed bag of bullshit, and kind of corrupt the idea of the only 2 guys that were talking on this team and they were doing well, let's split them up. So it's almost like you have to do mediocre to potentially win, but you have to yourself, almost like you have to do mediocre. Like, at least 2 or 3 of the players out of the 4 have to play mediocre for you to be basically led the whole way through by one player. It's almost like I don't know, it feels like as soon as people start communicating or start doing well, they split those people up. And that's what kind of irritates and pisses me off, just to be honest. That's what it feels like. I don't know if that's actually it, or if that is, if that's a fact or not. I don't know. But overall, like, if the maps were, more close quarters or more urban, I would be more excited to play the multiplayer for Ghost Recon Wildlands. As of right now, the campaign is definitely my niche, definitely my thing. I'm really loving it. I love how it takes forever for you to do really, take out certain, like, aspects of the game, like to do certain things. It's like a long-term campaign, and that's what I really like about Ghost Recon Wildlands. I'm really excited to continue and seeing, the ending of the game, and I'm not trying to rush through it. I'm trying to enjoy myself and pace myself. I don't really plan on really posting any more Ghost Recon videos. I just kind of wanted to briefly talk about things, and I know this is going to be kind of like a longer video just for the fact that the games here are really only about 8 minutes long, but it feels like forever, because there's just these stalemates and people do this bullshit where they camp shit, and it's almost like it is a playable strategy, and I'm not like bashing on it, because you're not going to be an idiot and run out in the open. That would be a fatal mistake. But I mean, there's instances where 2 minutes, there's nothing happening. Not a single round is being fired. What the fuck is happening? Where's the action? Where's the, like, when I think of multiplayer, I feel like what they should really do is they should do more urban maps, and then they should have a respawn system that every like 30 seconds after you die, you can respawn automatically at your spawn point. I think that would be a little bit more interesting, and then have kind of like where like team deathmatch, and they could always do domination, where you have to hack that computer to actually get that point, which would be much more interesting. There's a lot of potential in the multiplayer aspect of Ghost Recon Wildlands, and I can see that there's a lot of potential, but I feel that they haven't fully exploited the actual potential in this game, and that's kind of aggravating, because as much as people kind of, in the community hated Ghost Recon Future Soldier from way back in the day, which was years and years ago, I really love that game. I mean, there could have been a lot of things that they could have fixed in that game, and actually had a really big community of players that enjoy third-person shooter, style of games, which I do like, on a certain level. When it comes to like Gears of War, as a really quick, brief example, like Gears of War, you actually have to play with your friends or your teammates, or else you're going to get destroyed. And I know this because that's one of the reasons why I quit playing Gears of War, is because I never really had enough friends that played, multiplayer like that, or they had a different console, or like just, life, the older you get, the more responsibilities you have and less time you have to, contribute to games. And this is a perfect example. I haven't uploaded in about a week or so, and I feel really bad, and I want to bring more content, but with the idea of school, work, and everything else in between, and other personal things that I need to take care of as pretty much like an adult. I mean, I'm almost 30, so I mean, you got to consider the fact that you got to take care of your priorities first before you do anything else. And I really strongly encourage that for anybody. If you're really young, strongly encourage that. Take care of yourself first, then take care of all the other fucking things that you need to take care of. Like take care of yourself and your priorities first, then consider, like in this, as YouTube as an example, like I take care of all the shit that I need to take care of first. Then I'm like, well, I have time to make a video and do a commentary, and then, go about doing that. So, hobbies hobbies are a hobby. So this is a hobby to me. So I'm just, when I have time, I'll do it. If I don't, I gotta wait. I just got priorities, especially because I have school, and I usually start school at like 6 o'clock, and then I get home like after 11. It's kind of hard to, find time to upload and all that kind of shit. And I have actually taken some time off from work, but I've been taking care of other things that I need to take care of, especially because my first segment of class is ending. I'm going to have a lot of tests and finals and shit, so I'm probably might be kind of going MIA for a while, just because, school is more important, especially if you're going to invest money. You gotta consider the fact that that's more important right now, because it's, my future, I guess you would call it that way. But I do want to upload videos, hopefully try to get, as much as I can possibly out today. So this is one of the videos, just a brief, overview and kind of a minor review of Ghost Recon Wildlands, but the multiplayer aspect, you do have to unlock players when you level. You unlock players and you unlock perks and this and that, and weapons and all sorts of other shit. But I feel like I should be given a lot more from the very start, because I felt like kind of underwhelmed or overwhelmed, when I first started. I was like, dude, I have no chance coming up against a level 35 with me just starting. Like just everything was kind of a hellhole. When you first start this game, you have nothing. You start from scratch. It kind of sucks. But it is what it is. I'm not gonna, bitch and whine about it. You have a challenge. You have to, grow your character, grow yourself, and, level up, and then you get better characters, better weapons, and this and that, better perks, and all that kind of shit. So overall, I have to say it is good. I just really wish the maps were more tightly knitted and more urban style, in a way. Just so there would be more cover to cover, and the firefights would be more intense, and there would be an initiative to have players be more aggressive in their play style, because right now it feels a little slow and stale at some points. But that's all I gotta say when it comes to the Ghost Recon Wildlands multiplayer aspect of the game. So that's all I gotta say. I'm the Mint. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely leave me a comment. If you actually liked the video, hit that like button. And if you want to go as far as subscribing and hitting that bell, I would really appreciate it. And that's all I gotta say. Peace.